All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is Daily Vlog 2025, number 50. And today, the world is in peril. I need a drink. So, Twitch has made an announcement that they are now capping the video on demand, the amount of video on demand stuff that you can have on the website to 100 hours. Which seems like a lot, but it's not in any way, shape, or form. Because that includes highlights and uploads. And people are, I'm going to say, justifiably upset about this. So if anyone is just completely clueless as to why this is an issue, or doesn't even know what's going on. So for anyone that doesn't know, Twitch live streaming platform, the largest live streaming platform on the web, and the arguably best live streaming platform on the web, due to a number of different factors, but things like their chat integration is second to none. Like, nobody has chatting integration that works anywhere near as well as Twitch. They have a bunch of other things, like channel points are a really, really effective way to incentivize people to watch more. The bit system is a really, really great way to be able to get kind of micro donations to your channel. There are quite a few video games that actually can attach themselves to the Twitch API, so that chat can literally interact with your game, which is really, really fun. Like, they're definitely at the top of the live streaming platform. And I've mentioned this quite a few times before when I was talking about things like the difference between YouTube and Twitch and things like that. And something else that they offer is video on demand services. And if you don't exactly know what that means, that's what YouTube does. Video on demand is basically, videos that aren't live. So you can watch them whenever you want, or on demand. And when you look at websites that offer video on demand services, YouTube is by far the number one video on demand service. With Rumble actually being able to challenge them a little bit, but if you look at traffic and everything, Rumble is still far, far away from being able to dethrone YouTube. They're working on it, and they're doing a lot of cool things, but they're not they're not challenging YouTube, not yet. So Twitch puts out this video. Oh, and I should say, YouTube is, at least at this moment, also the best video on demand service for a number of reasons, the biggest of which being discoverability. And this is where the issue with Twitch comes from. You can watch non-live videos from creators that you enjoy on Twitch. I was just watching yesterday. I was watching a stream of one of the newer Twitch streamers that I just started watching. They had done or they're currently doing a playthrough of Avowed. And Avowed, until it comes out on PS5, if it comes out on PS5, probably not going to buy it because I don't own an Xbox, and right now I just really haven't been enjoying trying to get games to run on my PC. So I still wanted to experience the game. I think the world is cool, so I was watching the streamer play it, but she streamed for like 9 hours playing the game, and then the next day she did another like 9 or 10 hours playing the game, and I think there's a third stream of it too. And I just can't sit and watch a Twitch stream for that long. So I went back to the VOD, the video on demand, and I was able to start watching it as well. But finding the VOD is a pain in the ass. You have to specifically search for her channel. You have to click on her channel and hope that she's not live, because if she's live, it takes you to the live broadcast, and then you have to do this weird workaround of going to her channel and then closing the live broadcast and then going to the videos tab and then scrolling through the videos tab until you find the past broadcasts, and then you can actually find the video. But it's not great. It's not really possible to search or browse through the video on demand of the videos. Twitch is set up to be a live streaming service, and so the video on demand stuff just doesn't work very well. There's actually a feature that a lot of people don't realize is a thing that you can do. You can upload videos directly to Twitch in the same way you do for YouTube. So if I wanted to put my daily vlog on Twitch before this announcement, I could. I could just upload it the same way that I upload things to YouTube. I could put a title, I could put hashtags, I could put whatever I want on it, and no one would watch it. Because again, Twitch is not designed for video on demand services. They're designed for live streaming. In the same way that YouTube has a live streaming feature. It kind of sucks. I know a lot of people that do live streaming. The vast majority of them that I'm aware of dual stream, to where they stream on Twitch, but Twitch reduced lightened up on the rules for streaming on Twitch. It used to be if you stream on Twitch, you are not allowed to stream to any other platform while you are streaming on Twitch. And then like a couple years ago, they went, you know what, that's fine. Go ahead. If you want to multi-stream, the only thing that we're going to tell you is you're not allowed to stream on Twitch and other platforms and make the other platforms better. Twitch still has to, or the stream to the other platforms better. Twitch still has to have the most available content on your stream. But you're not allowed to do things like integrate chat on YouTube and then ignore the chat on Twitch or anything like that. So I know a lot of people that dual stream now. I know very few people that exclusively stream on YouTube, because YouTube is not a streaming platform. It's a video on demand platform. Finding, like, there have been YouTube live streams that I have attempted, that I've wanted to watch, and I have had a really hard time being able to find them, because they won't show up in my feed. If I search for the channel, I'll be taken to the channel page, not the live stream. If I search for the name of the live stream, I generally won't be able to find it. YouTube is not a live streaming platform. It's a video on demand platform. Twitch is a live streaming platform. It's not a video on demand platform. And so because of that, for anyone that doesn't know, storing stuff on the internet is expensive, because in order for a platform to be able to like host videos and things like that, it's not like these videos are just floating in cyberspace, not having a care in the world, just floating in the river of information technology. No, they're sitting on a server somewhere. And in order for it to work, not only do you have to have the physical space on hard drives for that server, you also have to have that server permanently connected to the internet. Now, the way that this works right now is you have these like massive server farms in various places around the world where the hard drives that they're stored on are not really connected to a quote-unquote actual computer. They're just a massive, massive hard drive. But it's not like, there's some dude in, Pennsylvania that goes to his turns on his computer and is like, oh, now here's where the YouTube servers are. Nope, they're just these massive buildings with really, really high quality air conditioned units because server farms create a shit ton of heat, and all they do is just sit there and allow data to be stored on them. Well, in order to run storage like that, it's very expensive. Again, they create a significant amount of heat and they take a significant amount of electricity. So those two things in and of themselves are expensive. Then there's the fact that there's maintenance costs, there's upkeep costs, and the things like that of the computers themselves. So having storage for websites and things like that is expensive. It costs money. The more storage you use, the more expensive it becomes. So Twitch, depending on who you want to listen to, Twitch is either the biggest black hole of money that has ever existed, or is the most profitable platform that has ever existed for all time. Neither of those are true. I tend to, again, my understanding of business and my ability to kind of gauge how profitable things are. I think that Twitch is probably flirting with the line of quote unquote profitability from purely Twitch sources, like things like ad revenue. I don't think the amount of ad revenue that Twitch makes selling not ad revenue that it pays to streamers, but the amount of ad revenue that Twitch sells to run ads on the things, I don't think that is quite enough to be able to pay for all the stuff that Twitch does. But when you factor in bits payments, the various Twitch subscriptions and stuff like that, I think Twitch gets close enough to breaking even that Amazon can justify it being effectively a loss leader. Which, if you're not familiar with that term, a loss leader is basically an item that doesn't technically make you profit on its own, but the various things attached to that product do make you money. And so losing a little bit of money on this one product makes you more money in the long run. Really good example of that that a lot of people are not familiar with. Computers in general are loss leaders for most stores. Like if you go to Walmart or you go to like Best Buy or something like that, they don't actually make any money off of computers. They lose money. The profit margins are generally less than 5%. And I know this because I used to work for a company that sold a decent amount of computers. And yeah, unless you sold them at full price, you lost money on computers. However, computer software tends to be relatively high profit margin. Tech support services are relatively high profit margins. And other things, computer accessories, things like printers, keyboards, mice, routers, and other internet based stuff. All of those stuff you make money off of. And people won't buy them if they don't have a computer. So while computers themselves, you always sell at a loss, you more than make up for it by attaching software to the sale, attaching accessories to the sale, things like that. So my personal belief is Twitch, the platform in and of itself, is effectively a loss leader for Amazon. The actual services that they sell there don't quite make enough money for it to actually be profitable, but the amount of additional revenue that they can generate from Twitch makes up for that. But it doesn't particularly surprise me that they are finally capping the video on demand. Because while live streams they can make a shit ton of money off of, because the website is just not set up to allow you to watch video on demand service stuff pretty well, I will guarantee that the amount of money they have to spend to store all that stuff is significantly more than any amount of money that they make off it. Again, the stuff that makes the Twitch money, ads in and of themselves, which don't do particularly well on video on demand stuff that no one's watching. Bits, which you can't donate bits on a video on demand. And subscriptions, which the only kind of benefit to video on demand stuff for Twitch is basically there are some channels that won't allow you to watch video on demand stuff unless you're subscribed to them, and I sincerely doubt that is a huge motivator for people buying subscriptions. So yeah, to me, it's not particularly surprising that they're doing this because, again, they're not a video on demand service. And I think they're finally getting to the point where, like, you know what, we've been trying to do everything. We've been trying to kind of fight YouTube and, you know, do everything that YouTube does and then also do everything that Twitch does. And it's not worth it. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the technical know-how in our staff to be able to be a video on demand service. We are a live streaming service. We need to do that. We need to focus on the things that we're doing well. And we've been seeing this happening over the past few years where Twitch has been kind of acknowledging, you know what? We don't need to be this monolithic company that tries to pretend that there aren't any other live streaming platforms out there. There are. And with us trying to fight tooth and nail just makes us look bad. Let other people try. You know, you've tried the rest, now try the best. Spacer's Choice. Which isn't what it is. The actual thing for Spacer's Choice is you've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's Choice. If you don't know what that is, go play the Outer Worlds? I can't remember. It's either Outer Worlds or Outer Wilds, but it's a brilliant game by, I think it's Obsidian, maybe? I don't know. It's a fun space game. I loved it. It's very satirical. Anyway, so yeah, justifiably though, a lot of Twitch streamers are freaking out because their entire catalog has been stored on Twitch. And again, I will guarantee the vast majority of these people that are complaining about this are not getting tons of video on demand views. However, it is the only archive that they have of past content. And so while it's not getting tons of views because Twitch is not a good place to store video on demand if you want people to watch it, it is the only place it exists. And that is an issue. Now, the nice thing, Twitch for years, and I mean going on like a decade now, has had an upload to YouTube button. Like you can link your YouTube account with Twitch, and you have been able to do this for years. And any highlight you have is you can just go to it, click a button, and it will export it directly to YouTube for you. I used to do that with my Twitch streams, like streamy streams to TJ back when I used to do that. The majority of those were added to YouTube via the export to YouTube button. And that used to be how I did my D&D games, is I would just click export to YouTube. It's not a great button. There would be issues every so often with the uploads not working the way that they were supposed to. The early days, you could only upload maximum 15-minute videos, so it would have to chop up your videos into 15-minute chunks. That hasn't been that way for years now, but and the quality in and of itself is not great. Again, for live streaming, Twitch does super, super well, but their video on demand stuff just isn't great. So for a few years now, instead of using the export to YouTube button, I have just been recording all of my D&D games locally and then uploading them to YouTube directly. And it gives me a better quality upload and gives me a little bit more control over how it gets uploaded and everything like that. So for me personally, I'm not really going to be affected by it that much. My understanding is anyone that has quote unquote exceeded the limit is going to get an email or something saying, hey, you've got to get rid of a bunch of videos before, I think it's like April 19th, sometime in April. You got to get rid of a bunch of videos before this point, or we're just going to start deleting your least viewed highlights, and I can't remember if clips counted as well. But I know it's highlights and uploads are the ones that they're going to be focused on. They won't, according to them, they're not going to be focusing on past broadcasts, which is basically the automatically saved versions of your streams that normally, unless you change some settings, normally go away after like a week or two. Those are not going to count against that. But anything you've uploaded specifically or you've highlighted so that it will be preserved indefinitely, those things are going to be going away if they're over, if they reach over 100 collective hours. Now, again, a lot of people going 100 hours, like it's a lot of time. It's not really. When you think about if you are a full-time Twitch streamer, in general, your full-time Twitch streamers are going to be streaming a minimum of 4 to 5 times a day. And in general, those streams are going to work in a very similar way to how a full-time job works, where full-time hours, depending on the jurisdiction, in the U.S. at least, are anywhere between about 32 to 40 hours. That's considered full-time work. So to use simple numbers, if you're streaming 4 times a week and the streams themselves are about 5 hours long, let's say, that's going to be 20 hours a week that you're streaming. And that's on the low end for what you would consider a quote-unquote full-time streamer. If you're making your living off of Twitch, that's probably the absolute minimum amount of time you're going to be able to be live streaming in order to actually make enough money to live off of. So 20 hours a week means that in 5 weeks, if you archived every one of your streams in 5 weeks, you would have hit your storage limit and you have to start deleting things. Being able to only kind of archive a little over a month of your streams, and that's only if you're doing 20 hours a week. Let's double that to 40. Well, that means 2.5 weeks, you're done. And there are streamers that stream 40 plus hours a week. Like, that is not a crazy thing. Again, if that's your job, spending 40 hours a week at your job is the default. So I've been, quote unquote, I've been kind of downplaying it in the idea that, hey, if you think that the video on demand service for Twitch is actually beneficial to you, you're living in kind of a fantasy world. It's not helping you in any way, shape, or form. So in that aspect, this isn't really that big a deal because you're not really getting that much out of it. However, 100 hours is an extremely small it's an extremely small amount of time for a professional live streamer. And again, for something like YouTube, you can actually, well, first of all, if YouTube ever limited me to 100 hours of video on here, I'd be screwed. But for YouTube, like, you can make good money off of like 10 and 15 minute long videos. If you're running your channel correctly, most of the most profitable stuff on YouTube right now is in that anywhere from about 12 to 20 minute range. Like, that's the current sweet spot for the YouTube algorithm, is those 20-ish minute videos. Twitch, you can't make money with a 20-minute stream. Like, it's just not possible. You need to be on there for hours, and the longer you stream, the better a chance that you're going to be able to create a good audience. And having the want to be able to archive your content is not a bad thing. There are a lot of streamers that I will go back to past broadcasts and video on demand stuff just because I remember, oh, they played this game and I really liked it when they played this game. So I just want to rewatch that. One of the people that I follow and have been following for years, gentleman by the name of ProJared, he and I have very similar tastes in video games. So a lot of the times he plays games that I really like. And one of my favorite streams that he did was he played the Trials of Mana remake. And he was a massive Trials of Mana fan, just like I was. We both played the fan translation that came out in like 2000 or 2002. I can't remember which. It was one of the first fan translations that ever came out was Seiken Densetsu 3, which eventually was renamed Trials of Mana when it was released in North America a couple years ago. But yeah, so I've gone back and I've rewatched that. The thing with ProJared is he actually has an entire YouTube channel that he uploads all of his past broadcasts to. So he personally is probably not going to be affected by this much because he's already using YouTube as his archival device instead of hoping that Twitch could be his archival device. And I think that's what most people should have been doing for a little while, because you will get significantly more views on YouTube than you will ever get on Twitch video on demand. And now Twitch is kind of forcing their hand. And again, it doesn't surprise me. The amount of money that Twitch is paying for these VOD servers is probably astronomical. And they simply have not put the infrastructure into Twitch to justify it. So that doesn't surprise me at all. But for a lot of Twitch creators that are kind of exclusively on Twitch, this is a huge, huge blow. So yeah, I hope I've explained this in a way that people can understand. Interested to hear from you guys. First of all, I'm genuinely curious how many people here actually watch Twitch video on demand content. Let me know in the comments. And what are your thoughts on this? Like I said, for a while, Twitch was basically trying to be both Twitch and YouTube, and they realized that they're never going to be YouTube. And this is kind of the final, or the latest example of them just going, yeah, YouTube does video on demand. We don't need to. So, yeah. Otherwise, it's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.